possibility and creativity right now in this moment. Sometimes we get tested in society based upon our
everybody.
based upon our
Hold on.
income. Are you ready?
My
to
mic
have the
over
fun,
here.
the income you
Here we
want,
go. Let's
not
make sure
think
this
about
is
money?
muted.
Are you
It's
ready?
not.
We're fighting this war.
There we go.
For our brain.
All right. Get the music turned down. Fighting this war for our brain.
Time for you to undevelop.
All right. Hey, real quick before we get started, I want to do the 3 question. I got asked a couple of times yesterday from some marketing folks. What are the 3 questions that you teach people? And why are they important? So the 3 questions that I teach people are very simple. It's how to help get any conversation started. It's about how to get any dialogue you want going. And if you truly have something of value to share with people, it's something that is going to literally change the way the conversation goes, right? If you understand in a presentation, in a conversation, your desire is to help. The challenge is, what's the hardest thing for most people to do is ask for help. Most people do not ask for help. And in not asking for help, we wind up struggling. The challenge is that sometimes the reason it's so tough for us to ask for help is that a lot of the people we asked for help when we did want to ask told us don't ask for help, right? Told us figure it out on our own. When we ask teachers for help, oh, you should know that. When you ask parents for help, you should know that. Figure it out. Do it yourself. Or they didn't know the answer and they made you feel uncomfortable anyways. So we are not wired to not ask for help. We were trained to not ask for help. So when you have a dialogue and this idea around asking for help has shame tied to it, there's a good chance that the person you're about to have a conversation with is still wired through shame around asking for help. So it would serve you well if you could reset the stage so that help isn't a bad thing. That help is a decision, not a weakness. Does that make sense? You know how I say how equals human? Help equals decision, not weakness. I need help. You have the skills, you have the capabilities, because even the content that you deliver to somebody doesn't mean that they're going to do it. See, sometimes when we say we're helpless, we can't even do the actions. That's not true. You can, anytime you get confirmation of information, you can take action on it, right? If you wanted to hydrate better every day. Okay, so I need help. How do I hydrate better? Somebody might say, well, get a gallon jug and mark on the side of it 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and you should be at those levels of having consumed the water, right? That's help. Yet if you don't go out and get a jug of water, just a gallon jug of water, you don't need to go buy a fancy container from YouTube. Just go get a jug of water, a gallon jug, and write on it yourself. Figure out the marks. If you don't, you're helpless, right? You have the help, and then you don't do it. You don't use it. You choose not to do anything with it. So I created these 3 questions that would allow you to change the frequency. And these 3 questions change the frequency 100% of the time in your favor. And here they are. First question is do I have your permission to help? And people would say, well, why would you even ask that? They're there for you to know. You're making assumptions. You have no idea what happened to a prospect. You had no idea what happened to a customer just before you spoke to them. How many times have you hung up the phone and then had to step into a room or step back into a meeting or into a conversation and be the same person you were before the phone call? It happens to all of us. So if your job is to sell your product, and Zig Ziglar says sales is a transference of enthusiasm, and you're excited about your product, then you have a right to help them. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to use it. See, most people think the help that they get, the advice that they get, the conversation that they have, they've got to implement it, which is why most people are resisting significantly why they should. I look like a talking head. I just realized that. Why they are resisting the dialogue with you. So this dialogue that they're about to have with you, what happens if you actually take the help? Sometimes don't we feel a little weak? Don't we feel a little less than? That if somebody gave us help, somebody guided us, somebody served us, and we're like, well, there's a whole nother part of psychology. It's called the forced law of reciprocity. If you help me, I need to help you. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? I'm great. How are you? Right? That's the forced law of reciprocity. If I say something, I owe you something in return. So if you help me, I got to help you back. So first question is, do I have your permission to help? What does that do in the brain? What does that do in the mind? It allows people to, first of all, understand they're about to hear something maybe they haven't heard before. They're about to be exposed to a solution maybe they haven't had before. And is it okay if they pay attention to it? So I'll say something, hey, listen, before we get started, I got 3 simple questions. These questions are designed to serve you and they serve me and they help us have a better dialogue. Would that be important? Yes. Okay, here's the first question. Do I have your permission to help? Listen, it may not be helpful at all. Yet if it does offer some value to you, is it okay if I share it? Well, sure. Yes, absolutely. Right? Rather than I'm going to pitch you something. So, and depending upon how they answer that first question will determine whether or not we ask question number 2. If they say, no, I don't need any help. My next statement is anything else before we go? Wait a minute, you're there for a presentation. Not if I can't help them. Not if they're open to the possibility of looking at different options. Does that make sense? All too often we say, well, I need to get through the presentation so I can check the box. You don't get paid to do presentations. You don't. You get paid to enroll people. You get paid to sell product, not do presentations. You don't. Well, I have to have the presentation to sell something. Yes, you do. And if somebody doesn't want your help, that's a wasted presentation, isn't it? Got to get clear with your time. Your only way you get compensated is by converting people into the process, into the formula that offers you to provide your product or service, period. Why would you have a conversation with somebody that doesn't want, that's not interested in that? So that's question number 1. Question number 1, do I have your permission to help? I don't know if it will, maybe it will. I hope it will. If it does, do I have your permission to share it with you? Yes. Awesome. Second question, right? And this is how I propose it. And I hope you answer it the right way. So now I'm putting a little pressure on them. I hope you answer it the right way. Either answer is fine. Yes or no is fine. I hope you pick the right one. So now they know there's a consequence to not picking the right choice. Question number 2 is, hey, listen, if I'm about to share some information with you haven't heard before, sometimes I know myself, it made me feel a little uncomfortable to think that there's a solution out there that I haven't heard that I might need to do something different. So the second question is do I have your permission to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable? Just a little bit. Might be a lot. I hope not. Just a little bit. Oh, yes. And if they know that if you have any experience with them, if you've ever brought them value in the past through making them uncomfortable, helping them do something they've never done, had something they've never had, see something they've never seen, they're going to say, oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, that's why I'm here. You're my mentor. You're my teacher. You're my sponsor. You're my enroller. You're my salesperson. You're my resource. When you understand that, and this, I'll listen, I will go through these questions regularly with people. The same people I've asked time and time again. Hey, listen, remember question number 2? Yes. Do I have your permission to make you uncomfortable? Yes. Do I? Yes. And the reason is that, and if they answer yes, you have to give them a little JM3, a little attaboy, attagirl. Yes, you have my permission. Oh, good. Because you're going to love the third question. Now, what does that do? That excites them. That brings them to, oh, okay, I have something. Can I take you out of that uncomfortable feeling? And you'll literally watch their shoulders drop. You might hear their feet slide on the floor. Their body goes into a state of relaxation. So would it be better to have their body in a state of relaxation or in a state of confrontation when you're about to go into a presentation? A state of relaxation. So these 3 questions, walk them through that little roller coaster so that you can begin the process, one, of helping them, permission to make them a little uncomfortable, and then take them out of the uncomfortable feeling. So that they're set psychologically that anytime that you put them into it. Now, you've got to understand, if you do put them into a state of uncomfortableness, you need to become aware of that. And the simple way that you can take people out of this uncomfortable feeling is by simply saying, I think I touched a nerve there. Hey, do me a favor, take a big breath. That wasn't a big breath. Take another big breath. Okay. Can we talk about that? What was it that triggered you there? What was it that caused you to pull back? What's something, because again, that made you uncomfortable, and I'm honored that you let me take you there. My goal is, remember I said, take you out of that uncomfortable feeling. So do we need to dig around there, brush around there, figure out what's going on there? Because that, ladies and gentlemen, will be the end of your presentation if you don't address it. Because it just sits there and they can't hear anything else. You ever think about something where you have a memory that pops up and the memory just keeps replaying and repeating and replaying and repeating and replaying and repeating, and you can't hear anything else, even though you're nodding and doing all the physical things? So those are the 3 powerhouse questions. Those are the 3 how to sell anything questions. Do I have your permission to help? Permission to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, and permission to take you out of that uncomfortable feeling. Now, if words are 7% of our conversation, there needs to be some other parts to those 3 questions, right? The psychology behind those 3 questions. Hey, listen, before we get started, I found there's 3 questions that if we interact on, that if I get to ask you, they will improve this conversation we're about to have significantly. Would I have your permission to ask those 3 questions? Sure, yeah, absolutely. Number 1 is, do I have your permission to help? I don't know if I will. If I can, I want you to be okay with receiving it. Do I have your permission to help? Yes, absolutely. Number 2, little tougher question. Do you hear the change in my voice? Number 2, little tougher question. Put a smile on your face. It's a tough question. Question number 2 is, do I have your permission to make you a little bit uncomfortable? And I actually do that, a little bit uncomfortable. Because it's tiny, right? When we see somebody, oh, look at the little baby. Oh, look at the puppy. Oh, it's so cute, right? Those are high frequency vibrations that if you add it to that word, the word doesn't become so formidable. It doesn't become so challenging. The statement becomes a little less confrontational. Do I have your permission to make you uncomfortable? That versus, do I have your permission to make you a little bit uncomfortable? Right? In simply hearing that, you respond differently to that. I've shared these questions for the last 2 decades. And I'll ask people, so let me hear you use the 3 questions. Do I have your permission to help? Okay, that's a little tough. Yep. Do I have your permission to make you uncomfortable? That's never going to work. Right? Wallace D. Wattles says in his book, Science of Getting Rich, it's not about doing certain things. It's about doing things in a certain way. Right? And these 3 questions, when done in a certain way, produce 100% positive results. So it requires practice. The words are there. You can print the words off and read it. You could even say, hey, listen, look, there's 3 boxes next to there's a box next to each question on this little 3x5 card. Here's a 3x5 card. I want you to read those questions and then check the boxes. You could literally do that. It's not going to work 100% of the time. It might not even work 50% of the time. Do I have your permission to help? What are you going to help me with? Right? That's what's going to come back. Do I have permission to make you uncomfortable? No, I don't want to. This is not why I came to this presentation. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. Do you see how, if you don't say it the right way, the responses that could happen? I've been on three-way calls, and I've done this. I do this with when I was doing sales, when I would do high-end consulting, and I would have my other business partners there. And they would say, listen, before we get started, Sean's got a couple of questions. Even they never really got the grasp of how to ask them, because it has to be a frequency that's in concert with the person you're asking. So if they're full, I'm trying to say it without saying something inappropriate. If they're hard driven, right? They're all in. They are just cut to the facts, just the facts, please. You would ask them differently than somebody who's a caring, sharing, kind person who wants to just give, kind, giving individual soul. Right? So there's a frequency with which you ask this, a signal. And that's one of the hardest things when I'm teaching people public speaking, is to understand your signal is more valuable than your words. And what happens is when you ask these three questions, you get to open a signal connection, a frequency connection that 90% of people in sales never get to connect with. So those are the three questions. Do I have your permission? And then do I have your permission to help? Do I have your permission to make you a little bit uncomfortable? And I'll even do my fingers a little bit uncomfortable, because those are all visual. Those are visual clues and cues that I'm giving the person. And then if they say, oh yeah, absolutely, I go, whew, okay, I'm glad, because you're going to love question number 3. You're going to love, there's emphasis on love question number 3. Pause. What's question number 3? Tell me question number 3 quick. I don't want to be uncomfortable. That's what's going on in their mind. Question number 3. Do I have your permission to take you out of that uncomfortable feeling? Oh, please. Yes, absolutely. And I will check in sometimes when they say, well, when I get an objection, or what I call a protection signal, it's too much money. Remember question number 2? Yes. I'm going to ask you, what makes you uncomfortable about the price of the product? See, I can ask that now. You can't ask that if you don't get that permission. You will never be able to ask that without creating a wildly confrontational dialogue that ensues right after that question. Hey, so why are you uncomfortable with the money? Well, you don't have no money? I can say, so is it that your funds aren't, do you have to transfer funds? Or what's the matter with the money? See, when you understand the power of setting the stage for your presentation, you won't waste your time again. You won't, at the end of a presentation, of a 2-hour conversation, of a 3-hour conversation, of a 30-minute conversation, say, I don't know what the hell was that? They seemed so excited about it when we set the appointment. I just wasted my time. I don't know why they said no, they're going to get back to me. They need money, blah, blah, blah. They don't have money. They don't have time. They don't have this. I don't get those conversations anymore. I used to, and I got it way too often. So I said, there's got to be something going on. I'm the problem if the response is constantly no time, no money. A lot of it had to do with my money frequency, my money belief. Was it too much? Did it take too much time? That's when I was full-time in network marketing, and I would do it full-time, and I was researching and going to events and going to this. And I was often told by people close to me, why are you doing all of that? It's not working. You're not getting anything, right? Short-term visual versus a long-term commitment is what they would see. It's an expense to go to a money, but to me, it was an income producing activity. I needed to change the way I looked at things. The income was there from my compensation plan. The income was there from selling the products. And if I couldn't sell the products or the compensation plan, then it was me that has a problem with money. If there's a 6-figure income when you show how you produce the formula, if you do exactly this, and this, you can get 6 figures. There's not a single job. I've not had very many jobs. There's not a single job I've ever had that they said, well, if you do this, and this, you can get to the top. No, you were in continuous competition. So if I'm in continuous competition to go to the CEO of the company that I'm a part of, if I start off as an employee, right, stocking shelves, and I wanted to become the CEO, there is a formula. It might take 20, 30 years. Might take less. There's going to need to be a significant sacrifice and unbalance of what I'm currently doing to get to what I want. So I understood that in the business world. See, I didn't treat this profession of MLM, me loving more, as a business, because everybody I talked to was speaking to it as a hobby. Talk to people, go to meetings, talk to people, bring people to meetings, bring people to meetings, bring people to meetings. And I was bringing people to meetings, and the formula that they had didn't work. It didn't work for most of the people that brought people to the meetings. It was a catch as catch can. It was a haphazard. It was a throw it against the wall, see what sticks kind of model. And then I said, this has to change. This is a significant business with significant 6-7 figure income potential. Start looking at it as a business. All sales is a business. It's a transference of enthusiasm. So I realized that it was me wanting to check the box that I was smarter than the average bear versus where can I get into their spirit? Where can I activate their highest want, their highest dreams, their highest wishes? Where do I have permission to turn on their dream switch so that they could have more of what they want? Challenge is that every time anybody's ever said they want more of what they want, they were told, that's stupid, by people who were close to them, influential people. So these 3 questions allowed me to break through all of that. They were very simple. They're wild. They're nuclear in their dialogue. They have a nuclear reaction to somebody in a positive way to allow them to be focused while you're having a conversation with them. So there's the 3 questions. Do I have your permission to help? Permission to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, and then permission to take you out of that uncomfortable feeling. So what happens, Sean, if somebody says no to the first one? Anything else before we go? Well, I don't really want to feel uncomfortable. That's usually where it's probably, if I do get the no, it's going to be on question number 2. Question number 2 gets more of the honest reaction from somebody that saves me, and it saved me hours, probably weeks of hours of not having to do a presentation that they were never going to get started with. So probably out of the 100% of the rejections, 70% happen on question 2. Now, in the thousands of times that I've done it, probably 10 people, 15 people. So it is a rare duck that responds negatively to any of these questions. Now, where most people a lot of people, when they start this, they'll get the negative. I'll say, let me listen to your recording, because I'll ask you to record yourself just for your own training, for your own purposes, to put on your audio. And when we play it back in the review, when I do the review, I don't really need to say much, because when you hear it played back, you'll realize that you are absolutely grilling them. You were wanting to have such significance in this dialogue that it even sounded yucky in the recording. I can't imagine the physical features and the physiology and the frequency that's being transmitted through a conversation, through a Zoom, right, or through a one-on-one, a live in-person conversation. So I would encourage you to set your audio recording up and record your next presentation. And if you'd like, you can record it and we'll listen to 10, 15 minutes of it and do a quick review of it. And you'll be surprised why you're struggling doing your business. So just reach out to me, have a conversation. For those of you watching this on YouTube, and yeah, we're going to do a little live Q&A now. Good morning, everybody. Questions, comments, thoughts. How can I help you grow your business? Wow, I yapped for 30 minutes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, there you go.
Okay, you can help me.
Okay. Outstanding. Good morning, Silka.
Good morning, Sean. How are you this morning?
Outstanding.
I just love to hear it. It makes my morning. So, I only have a month left of this year.
Outstanding.
Well, I guess we all do. So, um, yes, what would you suggest I reach out to people? What would be the most powerful reach out at this time to get the quickest responses?
Well, you kind of mentioned it the other day. Hey, listen, have you set yourself up to get $5,000 back yet?
That's how you just would contact someone?
Why not? Have you taken advantage of the business rules to get your 5K back?
Because I posted some of that and I don't think I got any responses. So
Well, how many times do you need to make a post before somebody takes action? This, like the same exact post, how many times does that need to be put out into social media based upon the marketing studies that happen?
I don't, you know what? I never put the same post out. Should I be doing that?
Yeah, you could. I would have 5 or 6 posts that you just post continuously.
Oh, really?
Why not?
Um,
Listen, do you have a favorite? If you watch TV, do you have a favorite TV show?
no, but I can tell you when my daughter was little, she would watch Barney over and over and over and over again.
Okay, so why do you think Barney knew that they would get her to watch that and then want every toy and want everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty
So it's
bizarre.
repetition. So if imagine if you liked, I don't know, um the English baking show, and it comes on Tuesdays at 7. You're like, that man, I love that show. Imagine if somebody talked to you next to you, oh, the baking show was on last night. I thought it was on Tuesdays at 7. Yeah, they changed it to Thursdays at 6. Oh crap, I missed it. Okay. So now what? So now you go on Tuesday at 7. Oh no, we're no longer Tuesday at 7. Okay, they'll be on Thursday at 6, and then you find out they were Wednesday at 9. What the hell's going on? We need consistency in our life. Imagine if your company changed their website URL every day. You're like, this is ridiculous. And what I mean by that is that we are wired for consistency. We love patterns. So the pattern might be you have 5 or 6 or 7 posts, and that's it. And you just post those over and over and over. On Tuesdays, it's this, Tuesday mornings, it's, and then you can, those 7 posts, you can swap them up. They're still the same thing. They're seeing the same thing, different time, different place.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never thought of
So
that.
it seemed like you had a lot of interaction on A, B, C, or D. Which sunset do you like most?
Yeah, that was one too. Yeah, yes, yeah, because that seemed to catch people's attention. But then, I mean,
Well, I would post it again. And say, let's see if my audience, let's see what the audience says now. The previous audience had C as the number 1. So now there's a little bit of, you create competition in the reader's mind going, oh, well, I was part of the previous, but I didn't interact before. I really like D. And you force them to take action, because now they want to be part of the survey group, the research group.
very good idea. You know, this is funny, and you're gonna clap me back with that. I keep posting the same things over and over again from my German business. I just don't do it for my network. Yeah, there you go. I know. I could look at that face.
I mean, imagine if I said,
Oh,
Silka, I did this with my cows, but I don't know why I did all of that with my cows. I don't know why I'm not doing it with my sheep. You're like, well, you're an idiot. Why aren't you doing it? If you already know it, why aren't you doing it? Because this is how you were programmed around network marketing, that it's got to be difficult. You know, there'll be a study done at some point in network marketing. I don't know if it'll be in the next 5 years or 50 years, but there will be a study done and a revelation that comes out that says top leaders made it more difficult than it should be. And the reason top leaders make it more difficult than they should be is they don't understand the principle that Einstein said. And Einstein said, make everything as simple as possible, not simpler. There's something wired into us. It's called a value meter. And we need to provide value to people. When you're making 6 and 7 figures a month because you started to use a consumable product, you bought a product, then you spend $100 a month and you now make 6 figures a month because you shared it. There is a imbalance of equity, an imbalance of value perceived by us, by the ones who create the income, who are getting paid these significant dollar figures, that now all of a sudden we've got to be better dressed. Well, you're rich. You've got to have a better house. Well, you're rich. You've got to have better language. Well, you're rich. And all of these things, we make it so difficult for the average bear to say, I can do that versus I want that. This profession puts people into such a wanting that if they truly understood the law of attraction, they should be locked up. I want that. I want that. I want that. We have created such a wanting and what's such a frequency of wanting that nobody can do. You ask somebody, then you ask them, so what's your biggest secret? I talk to a lot of people. That's not hard. But because we wrap it around who they are, what they are, how they've done it, their 20 years, that we hear everybody's 20-year story. Oh my God, 20 years. I got to wait 20 years to be successful.
Or
it puts a
30
frequency
years.
into the dialogue.
Yeah. No,
Right?
and that's it. I may look, I totally agree with you because I do exactly what you say. Make it simple in German. I make it very simple because I know why. Because people have this notion in their head that German is difficult. I don't know where they got it, but the reason I think lots of people think that is because people repeat that because the grammar, it's very grammar heavy, and most people have no clue about grammar. And this is very sad. I've seen this, I see this over and over and over again. It's mostly people that had an education in this country because English is a very basic language, nothing changes. So you really don't need to know the grammar very well to speak it. You can pick it up from the television. People say all the time, "Oh, I came to this country, I didn't speak any English, and I learned it from the television." Yes, you can, because it's always the same, nothing changes. German, you cannot do that because if you don't know the rules, you're going to continuously use it incorrectly because it doesn't duplicate like that.
Right.
So, yes, and I
So
think
what's
I
the thing
want
you
to
need to
do the
focus
same.
on? What's the thing you need to focus on between now and the end of the month, the end of the year? How do you make it German simple? That's a question you got to ask. That's what you need to
I make
focus
it
on.
bite size. I call it bite size German, meaning I only feed them bite sizes of grammar.
Right.
Does
Well,
that make
but how do
sense?
you do that in your business? That's your business you want to grow, right? So how do you bite size your business, your network, your business
Right.
model?
Okay. How can I do that? I think I keep it simple. It's the other people that make it difficult.
Well,
But maybe not. Maybe I make it difficult. I don't know. Maybe we need to look at me because I'm the common denominator in all of that. But I always say, let's just keep it simple. Just keep talking to people. I mean, that's literally when somebody asks me, what skills do I need? Well, you need to
Well,
be
there's the
able to
biggest
talk to people.
there's the biggest reason why these businesses fail. And it is simple to talk to people. What's people's biggest fear? What do people fear more than dying in a fiery car crash?
To talk to people.
So why would you make them so uncomfortable? I'd rather than say talk to people, I'd say tell me your dream today. Every morning I want you to wake up and text me your dream. If I say go talk to people, if I tell you go clean your room, you're like, I'm not cleaning my room. Why not? You want your room clean? Yeah, but you can't tell me what to do. That's why you're having such a problem, is when you say just keep talking to people. Nobody wants to talk to people. They have no skills. What do I say? I'm gonna feel like an idiot, and shame kicks in.
Well, I tell them exactly what to say.
That exactly, so that they can't even do that. They can't even do that. You give them the rules, you give them the frequency, you give them the say. Their signal is so off, they can't even say what you wrote down for them or what they wrote down. You can't tell them exactly what to say. You can't tell them anything because it's a volunteer army. German, they pay you. You need to fix me. You are a teacher. In network marketing, you're a mentor. You need to help them do things they didn't know they could do. If you're telling them what to say or coaching them how to say it, you're a teacher or a coach, and you'll go broke. A mentor is somebody who figures out a way to help people do things they didn't know they could do. So everybody's running around calling themselves a mentor. And if they tell you what to say or what to do, they are not a mentor. So my suggestion would be is if people are going to go do something uncomfortable, this is for everybody's business. If you're going to, if your business model requires you to become uncomfortable at some point, talking to people, doing a presentation, learning how to do this, until, Jim Rohn's favorite word, till you become comfortable with it, Bob Proctor would say, do the uncomfortable thing till you don't have to do it anymore, till you want to do it. I would say the thing I would ask people is every morning, tell me your dream. In one sentence, tell me your dream. What's your 30-day goal? I need $2,000. I'm getting $2,000 today. $2,000 conversation.
And I asked people what their goal was for. On Monday, I asked, "What's your goal by this Friday?" And there were some people that couldn't even tell me that.
So telling them to go talk to people sure as hell isn't going to work. So maybe have a conversation. If you can't figure it out, let's have a dialogue.
I tell them, let's talk. Yes, I do that.
Okay, and so what's the response? They don't want to talk.
How did you know?
Yeah, because you're not talking about all of the people you help set dreams. This comes back to the very basic fundamental. Do I have your permission to help? And do I have your permission to make you feel uncomfortable? You're getting, the post is getting, your post is designed to help. So you get a yes. When you say, set your goals, that's uncomfortable, and they check out. What would it mean if you had a clear 30-day plan for your goals? What would change in your income if you had a clear and you achieved your next 30-day goal? What would change in your life? Most people can't even answer that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, that's the issue. So how do you break it down into bite-sized pieces? I mean,
well, you've got a couple of things.
Even telling them all you need to do is get 3 people. I want to just tell them, let's
you may as well
concentrate on one person.
They'd rather jump out of a 4-story building.
Concentrate on one person a day. Is that
not,
too much too? I mean,
yeah, because
okay, yeah, let's.
So the key is the only thing that's going to inspire them is what? Napoleon Hill's chapter 1, desire. That's the only thing that's going to inspire them. They have to have an internal flame. They have to have a desire to want to achieve some level of success.
Well, I thought before, I don't think that anymore, that they signed up because they had a desire, but
yeah,
that's not. No, I get that. I mean, I get that. I have seen this over the years.
Yep.
So you, so what's, yes, I can ask them what was, how were you wording it again?
I have no idea what what wording you're asking about.
About the dream. You said
Oh,
every day ask them about
no,
the
if
dream.
if they're part of your team,
Yes, they are.
now two things need to happen.
Yeah.
One, if you make it your idea, they shut down. You've got to find the common enemy. And the common enemy is that somebody made you do this. Oh, I was just asked, this feels so uncomfortable. I was just asked that I wanted, if I wanted to achieve my goals faster than I ever thought possible, I have to submit my dream every day, right? What does Napoleon Hill say? Read your DMP every day. That's literally what you're asking him to do without going through all DMP stuff. So you've got to make this not about you. Because if you say, well, I want you to send me your things, they'll be like, who the hell are you? You never asked this in 2 years we've been working together. The thing is, you have to take away the conflict. And the conflict happens that when people learn new information, I've for 4 decades, people have struggled with this because they'll come to my meetings, they'll sit in my audiences, and they'll take down information. And then they'll go as the owner of that info and try to put it down through their organization. And it doesn't work. One, the signal is off because it's not their signal. They haven't figured it out. They haven't practiced anything. Most people never practice the 3 questions. They go, I tried the 3 questions. They didn't work. I go, same to me. Ask me. Let's role play. Well, I'm not going to do no, because your freaking frequency was way off. You sounded like you were the one in charge. I'm not in charge when I sit down for a presentation. I know I'm not in charge until you give me the ability to be in charge. So if you do this thing on the goals, hey, listen, every morning I wake up, I go to a call, you know that, you're nuts. You tell me I'm nuts. I get it, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I get it. One of the things I heard today is that we need to be reminded. Bob Proctor used to read his goal card twice a day, and he had a little 3x5 card, a little 3x5 goal card. So you could say, listen, if it was good enough for Bob Proctor, it's probably good enough for us. Now, the speed of the leader is the speed of your group. You ever hear that?
Yes.
Okay. So what I would encourage you is that you write out on a goal card 2 things you want for the week or for the 30 days. And when they text you theirs, you text them back yours. Now you're in a team. You got them to do something they've never done. The speed of the leader is the speed of the group. So I would encourage you to do it yourself. Now, you don't need to text them every day. You don't need to send them your card every day. You're asking them, take a picture of your 3x5 card. Now, here's what happens. When you have that information, I want car payment, house payment, pay off my Visa card, whatever it is, you get to text them back rather than how you doing today. You get to text them back, what can I do to serve you? What can I do to help you with your number 1, with paying off the Visa card, with getting the mortgage payment? What can we do today to move closer to that? Now, all of a sudden, now you're asking about them as opposed to them feeling as if you're interrogating them. I know you don't mean that. I know
No.
people say you sound hard, you sound poignant, you sound all of these things. That's not your intention.
Correct.
So when you send a text, that text is a Silka text, which plays the frequency of Silka into the text, even if that's not what you meant. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So how are you going to word it again for them to make the card?
Hey, listen, I was just watching, you could say I was watching a video on YouTube, and Bob Proctor every day read his goal card twice a day. And I figure if it was good enough for Bob, it's good enough for me. So I want to know who wants to write out their goal cards and share them so that we can have a little bit of an accountability, so that I can help you, so I can help that dream come true in the next week, in the next 30 days.
Ah, that is so ingenious.
And now whenever you reach out to them, when my mentor taught me this 23 years ago, when I would call him up, hey, listen, the comp plan changes, they've screwed up shipping to an international market or whatever. He'd say, what's your number one? But that's not what I'm calling about. He goes, that's the only thing I can talk about. I can't control what the company does. I can't control the shipping or the comp plan change or this, that, or the other, or the fact that the shipping was late or the blah, blah, blah. What's your number one? Great. How can I help you with that? Well, they've screwed up all of the shipping to the EU and blah, blah, blah. So how can I help you with number one? We never talked about what they could do, only what I could keep in control, what only I had control over. And the only thing he had control over is his skills and talents to help me get to my number one.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get that. Yep.
So I wouldn't have other
100%.
conversations about anything else. When they show you number one and two, the things they want, there's no reason to talk about anything else. And if you talk about anything else, then you're duplicating, fractioning the importance of a goal. And by the time it gets 3 levels down, nobody even knows what a 3x5 card is.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. You have been very, very, very helpful.
You're welcome.
Like always. Thank you.
Love it.
And I love you.
Love you too. Who else? Thoughts, comments, questions? What's your takeaways from that? When you ask somebody to identify what it is they truly want, it changes everything. Hey, AJ, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
Outstanding. My shirt's
life?
my shirt's fit now. Just
Your
FYI.
shirts fit now? I didn't know that there was a time that they didn't fit.
Oh,
So
there was a time, 260 pounds. It looked like I didn't have bad feelings. I used to eat my feelings.
hey, listen, a guy in Clinton, Arkansas, one time told me I got 2 words for you, buddy, and your birthday was a
Happy
long
birthday,
time ago.
wasn't
Happy birthday, one man.
it?
Holy moly, man! I did what you said,
Yep.
and funny how all of a sudden I don't need a third meal.
Oh, wow.
I don't need the death hour thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need nothing of that nature. And it's funny how some things are lining up now. You know how I used to talk about my 2022 and 2023 versions were prime times, you know, thing that we used to say regarding everything. And then what happened is yesterday I got a call from a guy. He's a Russian Jew that we did some business together back in the day. I don't know how funny that sounds as I'm 24, but for me, it was back in the day. And he said, you know what, we're looking for a sales manager, and we have one guy, but we're not satisfied with him. And I know how good we did together when we worked. And I said, yeah, man, sure. So we're gonna set up a meeting next week. By taking that job, I am going to, on the bare minimum, be doing 10 grand a month.
Yep.
Like I used to. And some other things are happening. There's this potential relationship, there's this stuff going on. And then what you told me yesterday, or actually the other day, no, we talked on, what was it, Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't do it that day. I went to work, and then when I came home, there was still a lot of hesitation in the body. And I said, okay, you know what? When I wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna do it, and let's see where this takes us. So I was like, okay. So the first thing I got on was the shirts and pants and suits I wore when I started working in sales when I was like 18. So that was about 5 years ago. I mean, listen. stop playing. You better stop playing. I mean, that was so bad. And then I said, okay, you know what? Let me try to make myself feel just a little bit, just a little bit better, a little bit less uncomfortable. Let me get my suit that I wore on my eldest nephew's baptism. And I said, okay, so I found it in my closet. It's a grayish suit with some. It's a nice suit. Um, the situation was probably 0.5% better.
You didn't realize that your closet was a dehydrator.
Oh yeah, it was a humidifier, I guess, or whatever. But yeah, so that was real interesting. And then I finally found something that I could put on that would still look extremely bad, but at least I could button it. And then I told you the shirt was so tight when I buttoned it that if one of them buttons flew out, it'd do the same damage as a 38 special. I mean, if if someone was to get hit with that button flying over, man, somebody would get hurt.
Sent a thank you letter to the tailor who sewed those buttons on.
Oh yeah, man, God bless him and his family, because that's that, that's some strong fabric right there. And yeah, and so my brother, who's not doing any better compared to me regarding weight challenge, he always teases me, obviously, because it's a brother thing. He always says, that shirt, I wish my marriage was as strong as that shirt. And I said, I got two words for you, buddy. And so, but yeah, but then it's so interesting that how you shift, because I think I went that extra step that we talked about on Tuesday.
Mhm.
Because step number one is to become aware, right? Step number two, then, which was what I was struggling with in that particular area, was that okay? I have an awareness. I have a statement of I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna consult ChatGPT on the diet plan. I'm gonna hire a private coach and I'm gonna do that, so on. And then I was missing the third step, which was actually turning that statement into something proactive. And I figured now, after the conversation I had with you the other day, that the reason why I couldn't go over the edge and actually start being proactive and not slip every other day and say I'm not going to have candy and then I have it every other day and then saying I'm going to do this and then I don't do it, etc., is because I was lacking that picture in my mind that actually forced me to be accountable. Because just like you said, and I think this translates into what you were talking about today, we're pretty comfortable being uncomfortable, and we're simply just uncomfortable enough that you think to yourself, gosh, man, I could probably do that. I could probably shred some weight. I could probably close more leads. I could probably do whatever. I could probably read for an hour a day and I could do this and that. But then you're so comfortable with not doing that that the results are still not kind of, you know what I'm trying to say? Like the results are still not,
So hear this. Your frequency, right? Your vibration, your signal is designed maybe less than it was before, but all of our frequencies are designed and structured. This is going to hurt, so y'all sit down or turn off the volume if you don't want to feel really uncomfortable. Your signal, your frequency that you currently carry is designed to reject success. It's not designed to go for it. You know what to do to go for it. You know what to do to get it. You know what to go do. Your frequency is designed to reject success. And when that sinks in, you will make a decision and you'll no longer reject success. It's not that you got to go put on 30 pounds. You got to stop 30 pounds, 40 pounds from going in your cake hole. That's not hard until you reject that. And if you made the emotional connection to the visual, now the next time that you go eat candy, it has to be a massive pain. You got to burn one of your suits. Which suit are you going to burn?
Oh, I don't want to burn any one of them. They're
Okay,
they're
so
fancy
pick one.
suits.
Pick one. Pick one. Pick the most expensive one. And if you're just going to throw it out the window and let anybody pick it up, you got to watch somebody on the street pick it up and walk away with it.
Oh, it's gonna be my blue navy.
Okay,
one.
so get that out and say the next time I eat, I got to throw that away. Now you don't need me for anything else on that conversation. That whole weight thing is done. If you eat it and you throw it out, you'll only do it once.
I ain't gonna do that because that's a Barbosa suit. I'm not gonna.
Well, then suck it up. So do you see where the pain of a foot-long Subway is a lot less than throwing out your Bertolli suit or whatever it is? The next time you eat a handful of candy, you got to throw out the suit. Oh, well, that's unfair. Is it? Is it really? No. Well, but that's not in compensation. This is how we reject success. We negotiate with failure.
Oh, yeah.
Success is there. It's right there for every one of you. It's right there, right there, right. It's as close as your skin. Why are you negotiating? Well, that's too. I mean, that's a $3,000 suit. Why would I throw that away for 40 cents of candy? Because that's the rules, Skippy.
That is spot. I've been thinking about that, and I actually had a conversation with somebody the other day regarding specifically that. How it's so fascinating to me how we. I mean, in a split of a nanosecond, how we come up with route A, B, C, D, E, F, G about how not to do something right now, but then you just come out with this kind of escape plan or whatever, like a contingency plan or whatever, and you just think about 100 different reasons, 100 different escape routes on how not to do what you're supposed to do right now, but do it later, do it tomorrow, do it before going to bed or whatever, and then that time comes as well, and then you don't do it. And I said, I caught myself doing that over the last couple of days, especially with Death Hour. I said, okay, you know what? Well, if I just get this one, I'm not gonna get two pancakes. I'm gonna get one, and then tomorrow I'm gonna do some walking in the morning so I can, and then so there's this whole mastermind goes on how to sell yourself on not doing what you're supposed to do, but do what you're not. And it was so fascinating to me.
So somebody typed out these questions for us. So I'm curious. I'm no longer available for being overweight. What version of me made the decisions that led to my current results? The leg should start tapping here in just a second.
Oh, we're getting used to that.
Who am I when I decide clearly? Who do I believe? Who do you believe you become? It's how hard is it to say done? That's because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Why is it so hard for you to break a habit? Because it's become habitual. A habit is something you do not have to think about, which proves what? 98% of the population do not think because they are operating out of habit. They will lie and tell you, well, I don't want that. Then if you don't want that, why do you do it? Well, it's a habit. We say it's a habit. You know what? Things are hard to break? Bad habits are hard to break. You know what else is hard to break? Good habits. If bad habits are hard to break, so are good habits hard to break. Need to define and start to define. And that's what these questions did, right? The 116 questions, right? From the Purpose Driven Challenge, the DMP Challenge. What's one? So this is day 2, desire reclaiming prompts. What's one thing I deeply want that I've been afraid to say out loud? I mean, these are life-changing questions. You got them all. Those of you in the mastermind chat have the link. AJ typed them all out, put them all together. What's the deepest desire I uncovered today that continues to echo in my chest? I mean, they're life-changing questions. So congratulations on doing it, on creating the imaginations. What I would do now is, do you ever have the handkerchiefs that go with the suits?
I usually would. I'm a Thai man, so
Okay.
I wouldn't usually do the
So to
handkerchief.
make it less painful, if you want to chicken out, pick your favorite Thai, and you got to throw that away today if you eat anything unhealthy.
Oh, yeah, that's not gonna work.
Right? Just I would keep it in your pocket and say, I got a choice, and I would touch it. I would put it in your your man bag, right? I would carry that tie with you and say, if I do that and look at it, it needs to be the visual reminder.
I've opted out of the man because you shamed me so much into not wearing the man bag that I forfeited it.
Well, you can wear it over there. It's
Sure, man.
it's
Sure.
comfortable.
Whatever makes you, whatever helps you fall asleep. I just want to share something with everybody. I'm not completely certain if people are doing the questions, if they started or not. I
I
just
can
want to share my
guarantee you
experience real quick.
98% are not doing it. It's just the rules. Now, this group should be above the average, but human nature is still human nature. I promise you 98% of the people who are listening to this have not even gone through question 15. They haven't made it that far.
I would like to be positive and
Mhm.
believe that they're doing it, right? I just want to share with everybody what happened. So on Tuesday, Sean said after some feedback I gave him, he said we need to get on a session right now. And I said, okay, yes, sir. So we went on a session. And the reason why we went on a session is because I literally started having so much rejection and hesitation that manifested into physical
That was
whatever
a frequency change in your body that
reaction
was manifesting into pain and suffering and a whole bunch of other stuff.
up to the point, and I told them this, that after, so this is how crazy it goes. After every healthy meal, I would get stomach ache. I kid you, I would get stomach ache, and I would need to go to the bathroom, and I would have stomach and stool challenges. After every junk food meal, all fine. On my way to the gym, I get a huge stomach ache. I mean, just cuts me from what I mean, just cuts my leg off. I get to the gym, I again need to go to the bathroom. I got stomach ache and so on. It's so much physical rejection in the body that even right now, after I take my supplements in the morning, the ones that Sean got me on, I do them. I swear to God, not even 10 minutes go by. Again, I get this feeling as if someone was stabbing me in the stomach or whatever. It's just so, and I said, now on top of that, as I was doing the questions, my back started hurting. I got this feeling of impending doom at times. I got this restlessness feeling. And my foot started dancing. My feet got cold. My eyelid was twitching for like 3 days. I had this like twitch in my eye for 3 days.
It sounds like they're gonna
Yeah.
kill me.
Yeah. At one point, my behind starts hurting. I get this feeling that I gotta stop what I'm doing and just walk around for a bit. To just hold this whole nervousness in the body. And I said, okay, you know what? Shut up, sit down and do the questions. And then at one point when it became so bad in terms of physical symptoms, I said this to Sean and he goes, we got to get on the session right now. So we did. And I'm feeling a lot better. Still have the stomach stuff, but feeling a lot better overall. And it's so fascinating to me how that works. That it's so hardwired in your body that you just if you really make a proper decision, not just a statement, which you helped me now, and I am forever in your debt, obviously, due to everything we do together. When you really make a decision, buckle up, Buttercup, because shiitake is going to get real.
Well, because once you make a decision, your body has to operate at a different frequency. And this comes down to signal. This is why I created the NEST program, neuroenergetic self-sculpting. Any goal you set requires you to become somebody new. Anyone you decide to become somebody new, your body needs to literally become somebody new. And it takes 7 years for us to replace every cell in our body, right? On average, 7 years to replace every bone marrow, every bone cell, right? Some are longer than others, right? We lose 10 million cells every second. 10 million new cells are being created, right? And if the new cells have a frequency of happiness, of joy, that's why you have memories. Listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you have ever been to a good thing? How many of you have ever been to a good thing and you remembered it the next day and the day after that, and then eventually it started to fade because you didn't repeat the memory? It started to fade over time, and therefore the cells that were being replaced while you were in the frequency were strong enough to hold on to the memory until when the memory went from a 10 to a 9 to an 8 to a 7 to a 6 to a 5 to a 4 to a 3 to a 2 to a 1, and the feeling left you. It's because the cells that were duplicating lost their energy because you didn't replay it. In the brain, we can prove psychologically, we can prove neurologically, we can prove through fMRIs that when you are exposed to something new, the neural connections between the synapse, right? There's more connections in our brain than there are stars in the universe. And those connections double in size. They go from about 1,600 to 2,300 connection points. They go from this to doubling when you are exposed to something of a challenge, because the body doesn't know if it's a threat. The brain is like, will this hurt me, or is this a new pattern I could use? And the brain does not like to change its patterns. So it doubles the connections because of its awareness, because of its chance, its possibility to harm us. Do I need to remember this? Do you know why you can remember bad memories more than you can remember good memories? Because your brain is designed and wired to say, will this kill me? And a bad memory can kill you, so you will remember it longer. You will remember the pain of trying to put that shirt on. You will remember the statement of your brother saying, I wish my relationship was as strong as those buttons. Because A, it's funny, it's emotional, but it's wired in because it was said from somebody of an influence. You won't remember. So what you didn't say to me, what you haven't said to me, what nobody has ever said to me, is how good you felt when you could fit into the suits. Do you remember when you put on the suit and it looked good and you looked in the mirror and went, dang, Skippy, I'm hot? You need to live those memories again, because it's if those suits still fit you lengthwise and height wise, and it's just this girth that you have to do to fit into it, that's easy. Imagine if your suits were 3 inches shorter, you wouldn't keep them. Right now in Europe, they do wear short pants sometimes, right? I don't know if that's your gig or not, but however the suits are, right? If the style of the suit still fits, if the length and the arms still fit and the shoulders still fit, and the only thing keeping you from it is being fat, that's easy. Fat's easy. It's a decision. And it's real easy to avoid that by taking your favorite tie and having to throw it out the next time you get on and order DoorDash that's unhealthy. Just throw out your favorite tie. You'll listen. You'll go get. You'll have the ability to get some new tie. You see his body doing this stuff.
One more thing
Yeah.
that happened, which was funny. Actually, two things. So I'll wrap it up short. So this lady I met the other night, we had a first date.
Yep.
So I come in there, I pick her up. She's 20, but she's me. I mean, she's on something. She's on a mission. And I said, okay. So I pick her up. She gets in the car. She looks at me, and she's like, "What are you wearing?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "You're wearing a tracksuit and a vest, like you're a drug dealer." And I said, "What?" She goes, "You're wearing a tracksuit." Now, mind you, she put a coat on, some pants, some fancy shoes, whatever. I came there like I'm, plugging blow or whatever. I don't care. But and she goes, "Please do not wear that when you go out with me because you look like you're a drug dealer." I said, "Okay, all right." And then again, how quickly the brain wants to get out of that. The fact is, I used to wear nice things when I went to work in the office before. I would never wear a tracksuit ever. And now immediately, instead of saying, "Well, you know what, I can't fit in that clothes anymore," I immediately said, "Oh, well, you know what? I worked my ass off so I can be in a tracksuit now," or whatever. Just come out with the gates swinging. The gloves fell off. That's it. And I said, okay. And then last night, now what you said about a positive versus negative memory and emotion that shows up in the body, I noticed a change in that as well. Because last night I was on a date with her again, and we talked about something, and she wants to next year, hopefully, she wants to go on one of those college work and travel programs in the States when they go from Europe to the States. And she asked me about the interview because she knows that I've been to America, obviously, and then I start telling her the story of the first time versus the second time. And I gotta say, honestly, this was the first time ever that when I told her the complete story of my first time, that literally having a panic attack in front of the embassy and then calling you immediately to kind of, figure out a way to not kill myself that day, versus the second time when I walked out as the winner, right? Getting it approved. This was the first time ever that as I was telling the losing story, I was like, okay, but then you know what? And then I started telling the winning story. And as I was talking, I immediately remember going to see you for the first time, seeing the range. I mean, I get goosebumps now when I remember seeing Chicago for the first time, the big city, walking down there and seeing Lake Michigan and everything. And then the second time around, driving to Texas and driving all across Arkansas and going to Memphis, so on and so forth. And it was the first time where the positive end of the story impacted me in a way that I just got this huge burst of energy versus the losing part of the story. And that was huge when I thought about it last night as I was talking to her. And I said, oh my gosh. And even she goes, sometimes you're so full of it. You're so arrogant sometimes. And I said, what do you mean? And she goes, you think you're better than everybody? And I said, because back at summertime, she was involved with someone and I couldn't, so there was no space for me to kind of do anything, right? And then I figured that when I came back from the States, we kind of started talking again or whatever. And she goes, well, how did that happen? And I said, you know what? My mentor told me one time that you got to focus on your evidence file and you got to focus on what you're doing. So one night I was in Memphis in a bar. I was talking to this guy. I'd just been to Elvis Presley's house. And I sat down there and I said, how the F did I get here? How in the world did I actually end up here, sitting in a bar at 24 in Memphis, USA, sipping drinks, talking to somebody? And I said, because number one, I don't take no for an answer. And number two, you gotta realize that you're Moby Dick. Right? And I said, and that's why. And she goes, oh, okay. Such an arrogant person. And I said, I mean, you do you, whatever. So yeah, this was a huge moment for me, I guess, to
Now,
finally
the
focus on
thing to
the
pay
positive
attention,
thing.
the thing to journal is, what month did you go to the embassy the first time?
February.
So February, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. 10 months it's taken you to get that vibration change. Last night, for the first time, you said it, 10 months. Something that was in your evidence file took 10 months because it took you 10 months to tell it enough to shift the story.
Yeah.
This is why when we look at our evidence file, this is why Bob Proctor says you have to read your desire goals, your goal card every day. Napoleon Hill said, write it out every day. It took 10 months for something that we had evidence twice to this US. And yet it took 10 months. And however many times you told that story, a dozen times, 20 times, 30 times, for it to shift, for it to finally shift in your signal. That's why we have it's necessary. It's a have to, not a get to. You have to until, right? You told the story until. Now the next time you tell it, you won't even be able to get unhappy with it. You'll laugh about when I walked and wanted to like just jump in the river. I called him up and said, well, I guess I'll see you next year. That was like, what does that mean? We didn't even know. I got denied for my passport. Oh, and a month later, I go back and get it. You haven't sent me a text going, hey, my passport still works. But you'd have told me if you'd not gone back the second time, I don't know when I can get it. Things are tough right now. They're really cracking down. They don't even let people blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, she ignited the spark as she asked me, how did you feel? And I said, when I walked out of the embassy and I saw those people, I'm like, I got it. See y'all. Yeah, so that was
and your signal was so strong.
Was the first time.
Your signal was so strong. You're like, they didn't even ask me any of the questions. They go, where are you going to go do there? I'm going to go, okay, enjoy your trip. You're like, what the what? That's what happens when preparation and planning meet, you get lucky. Period.
Thank you. There was a lot to think about.
Go find your tie. I wouldn't think about it. I'd feel about it. Thinking doesn't get you nowhere.
All righty.
I got two words for you.
Guy always got some extra. I mean, always got some extra. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I love you. Hey, go ahead, Diane.
Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Diane.
Well, this was a good morning, and thank you, AJ, for the discussion. And it's so true. If when you put your mind to something and it's the desire, like you say, Sean, we had this liver reset, and it's phenomenal that people are getting results. And my husband took a while, but he did get on it. And I said, you have to educate yourself about it, and you have to commit to it. And those are the big things, right? That's the things that give you the motivation to follow through and actually do it. And then when you see the results, like you said, it's your evidence, right? And then that's when other people start noticing too, that they start the discussion about it. So I just wanted to just bring those things forward because it's so true.
Well, and so Tony Robbins teaches that if you're going to set a goal and you know you're not doing it, there has to be massive pain. Not, well, you know what, I didn't do it before, because you didn't do it before and you're not doing it now, so there's really no pain. We've got to set up a system to where there's massive pain. You watched AJ's body flinch when I said burn your suit, throw out a tie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've got to set up the thing. What happens with not getting your liver healthy is you won't make it to your granddaughter's wedding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's a little extreme. No, it's not. Your liver is what can cause you to die. See how we play off things,
Yep.
right? You don't walk every day. So your women, heart attack is coronary disease is the highest killer of women. Why? Because they're so stressed in their hearts because of they got to be the Anjali, right? They got to bring home the bacon, put it in the pan, fry it up, or do whatever, right? And be a woman. All of these stories, all of these things, and coronary disease, heart attack is the highest cause of death in women, more than men now. So
And the
they got to get their
symptoms-
liver healthy. They got to get their body healthy. So heart attack happens when you don't expect it. So if you're not going to take care of your liver, just tell your granddaughter you wished you would have been at her wedding. Well, that's a little extreme. It's going to have to be something like that to get you to take care of yourself.
Yes, one of the ladies, that's what she's changed her whole. She said, "This
Alexa,
is my
stop.
why." And she posted the picture of the family and her grandchildren. And she said, her husband passed away about a year ago. And she was in that kind of a space. And so she did the liver reset. And she said, "Oh my gosh, it's given me a whole new lease of life. And this is my why." And so she is on a rampage now.
Absolutely. We need to have people that's how Susan G. Komen March for Cancer, right? The 5K, right? All of this stuff because somebody said, I'm done. Enough is enough. And I would be telling her story. I would be sharing 3 different versions of that story, who she was before, what made her make the choice, and where she is now after, right? What's this new lease on life? People want a lease on life. I put it in one of the red, right? Because it's bold. People want a new lease on life. And underneath it in parentheses, the secret's in your liver. DM me. And I would share the stories and I would weave that in between the stories of the success stories of people new lease on life. The greatest thing you have is those testimonials.
Oh my gosh, it's just amazing.
And I would be sharing them. I would be promoting them, block out their faces, do whatever, but I would be telling the stories of what it means. What 30 days could change your life. 10 days could change your life. I would also be ensuring that these people are taking pictures of their faces, because you know what happens when they detox. They'll lose some weight, and the face is one of the first places, and especially women, if they look, because over a week you won't see it unless you got the image. Have people start taking pictures of their face.
Yeah.
Because detox is inflammation. It's all of this stuff that the liver can finally get to do what it needs to do, and they'll see it in their face in 7 days easily.
Well, there's one lady, people keep saying, "You wearing makeup?" And she says, "No." But her skin is so much clearer and it just glows. Yeah.
Well, so that might be a fun one. The new makeup is a clean liver. Just how you want the novelty of it, right? You've got to be able to create the novelty. Do you want that glow of your 30s? It's hidden in your liver. DM me for more. And then anybody, this is where you use the Jesse Lee Ward tool. Anybody who makes a comment or likes, doesn't even make a comment, likes or comments, gets the phrase, "Hey, listen, were you just cheerleading or were you interested? Thanks either way. Here's the link if you wanted to know more." And that's just copy and paste, boom, copy and paste, boom, copy and paste, boom, to everyone. I don't care if it's 50 people or 5, but watch what happens. Put the link in there for them to go get it. You will get sales. 40% of her business came from posts like that, from her team. Her team used to do that all the time. Were you just cheerleading? Thanks. If you were interested, here's the link. They're never going to DM you, but if they liked it, that's public speaking. If they loved it, that's public speaking. If they made a comment, that's public speaking. They raised their hand saying, "I'd really like more. I want to support you." Copy and paste, copy and paste. Those are all leads.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
And I would and go back to any posts that you've been doing since you started this.
Okay.
And you can part of the copy and paste posts is, I never thought liver cleanse or liver detox, whatever the phraseology is you're using, would be so much fun. Were you just cheerleading on this post, or were you interested? Either way, thanks so much. Here's the link. And you're gonna scream when you start to see orders come in going, who's this from? I promise you. There's people who want to buy this that just don't know. But when they see the stories, that's why Visalis did so well, right? They had the party, the Get Skinny parties in 90 days, and everybody was losing weight. And Truvy, we would take pictures, 7-day sample, $25. It was easy. That's what I launched Latin America with, was a $25 7-day sample. And it brought in, what do we have? 14,000 people inside of 6 months from a $25 sample, right? Because they could make money, they could make $5, and they could feed their kids and all of this stuff. And nobody really wanted it for the weight loss. They wanted it for the income. Yet they sold it on the weight loss. They sold it on the picture. They sold it on feeling good. They sold it on all this stuff. So you've got something that people are just going to want it, and you're going to have more people engaged, more people liking it. And then when they go, how did you do this? You can say, listen, here's a simple thing. And they don't even have to talk to anybody. Eventually they will. Somebody's going to want to say, hey, listen, tell me more. That's what they got you for, the 40-year practitioner who understands wellness and liver detox, and the 26 years of working with the same company, of stability and courage and creativity, connection with the CEO. I mean, you've got all of the tools. You're the cat's meow when it comes to, hey, help me build my business. Yet if you could teach somebody copy and paste of how to grow their customers, and this is a customer-based acquisition.
Yeah, Al's on a new page. Like you, he does the questions and all those things now. It's really interesting. He's got everybody on the page now with that.
Good.
So his time with you was certainly paid off. Yeah, he's a big lead. So yeah.
Love it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There's another fun day of activities and conversations. Just understand that it's all frequency, it's all signal. It doesn't matter what you sell. It matters how you sell it and how is human. Do you understand human nature? Can you have a conversation that says, when somebody hears it, they say, I want some of that, right? Joseph McClellan III taught me that. You have a dialogue that somebody says, I want some of that. Because if they're not saying, I want some of that, they're saying, I don't want any of that. And that's up to you to change that frequency. So I love you tons. I'm your head brain training. Fit into your suit, misfit. I'll see y'all where?
At the next event.
Somebody give me some Costa Ricas.
Ura
Vida, we love you, Mark. And some Lydias.
Peace be with us
Peace
all.
be with us all. And the queen of helping you find what you want, Jessie Lee Ward.
Boss Lee.
Boss Lee. Little white fluffy.
Gurgly.
All right, everybody, go have some fun. We'll see you all mañana.